You know how once you see something, you can never unsee it, and then you start to see it everywhere, and you wonder how you never saw it before? Well, that's how I feel about the evils of feminism and the predicament that men and women find themselves in nowadays. Almost incapable of having a relationship because of women's bad behavior to start. Welcome back to Far From Eden, and please don't forget to hit like. I always forget to say that in the middle of the video. I even wrote it on my whiteboard over there and I still forget to say it. I try to tell myself, well, when Lola, my little dog, interrupts us, that'll be my cue, but she's fast asleep. She had a lot of treats today. So the reason I say that is because I can read anything I see, anything I read, I see through the lens of, I don't know, it's not red pill information, but it kind of is when you think about, now I know what I didn't know before. It's all through that lens. And that's why that's the name of the channel, Far From Eden, because it's just like, it all goes back to that fundamental thing that we are not in the roles that we're designed for, right? Women are designed to be mothers. We are literally like designed to grow a baby and feed a baby with our own bodies. And we're in a state of the world where it's like, that's like, don't do that. Like, handle your career first and this and that first. Everything's prioritized above that. And we're miserable. I see it through that lens. So when I was reminded of Paul Harvey's If I Were the Devil radio address, I was like, oh, I have to read that again through this lens that I now have over the last, 4, 5, 6 years. It's come in stages. I remember when I used to think MGTOW was like, oh, they're just angry, they're just bitter. I remember when I thought that. I feel so dumb now. I'm like, absolutely not. That is not true. Now I'm very pro MGTOW. I'm like, absolutely, stay safe, get your peace, find peace in your life and protect yourself. So Paul Harvey did such a good job sort of predicting what would happen, saying if I were the devil. It's like, well, I think the devil might be actually doing that or has done that. And so recently, again, I came across Paul Harvey's letter to his grandchildren. And I think I've seen it, in the past, how can you not love Paul Harvey, right? He's full of wisdom, even if I'm too dumb to absorb all of it at the time. So I thought, let's have a look at that. Let's have a look at Paul Harvey's letter to his grandchildren. Let's play Find the Feminism. I feel like that's what my brain's game is. So let's have a look at that and see what we can see about the predicament that we're in today. Okay, here we go. Paul Harvey's letter to his grandchildren. We tried so hard to make things better for our kids that we made them worse. For my grandchildren, I'd like better. Okay. I'd really like for them to know about hand-me-down clothes and homemade ice cream and leftover meatloaf sandwiches. I really would. Well, hand-me-down clothes means you're frugal and you're not all about shopping and looking cute. One of the genders really values that. Homemade ice cream. Well, who's at home? Nobody's at home to make anything. Meatloaf sandwiches, leftover, that means somebody cooked dinner the night before. Well, mom's busy at work, so there's no leftovers. I hope you learn humility by being humiliated, and that you learn honesty by being cheated. Well, a lot of women tend to protect their children from consequences, anything difficult. We want to protect them. Dads are the ones that push the kids past their comfort level on purpose because they know it yields great opportunities for character building. I hope you learn to make your own bed and mow the lawn and wash the car. I think we know who's the one that in the family usually brings the order and takes care of the outside things. I don't think he's talking about a granddaughter right here. I just don't think when he says mow the lawn, wash the car, I don't think from his generation he's talking about a granddaughter. And I really hope nobody gives you a brand new car when you are 16. Exactly. If it will be good if at least one time you can see puppies born and your old dog put to sleep. Value life. That's why so many men are pro-life. I hope you get a black eye fighting for something you believe in. Yeah, he's definitely talking to a grandson. That's about principles. I hope you have to share a bedroom with your younger brother or sister, and it's all right if you have to draw a line down the middle of the room, but when he wants to crawl under the covers with you because he's scared, I hope you let him. Teaching good masculinity, you know. I shouldn't have said good masculinity. He's teaching masculinity, and that needs to be taught. And you're going to go through things and get a black eye and fight with your sibling. You're not supposed to have all that handled for you. And moms do that way too much. This is a big reason why single mothers have terrible outcomes. For one, they're not really there, and they try to make up for it by, protecting their child from everything, making excuses for their child because it reflects badly on them. It's not for the kid. When you want to see a movie and your little brother or sister wants to tag along, I hope you'll let him or her. I hope you have to walk uphill to school with your friends and that you live in a town where you can do it safely. It'd be nice. On rainy days, when you have to catch a ride, I hope you don't ask your driver to drop you 2 blocks away so you won't be seen riding with someone as uncool as your mom. These are all wonderful lessons that I just feel like are so distant from, think about Gen Z. If you want a slingshot, I hope your dad teaches you how to make one instead of buying one. Good God, I hope you have a dad. I hope you learn to dig in the dirt and read books. When you learn to use computers, I hope you also learn to add and subtract in your head. I hope you get teased by your friends when you have your first crush on a boy or girl, and when you talk back to your mother that you learn what ivory soap tastes like. Consequences for your actions. And this is so good, but it's so distant, right? This is so foreign, I think, to the thinking of how people parent or have parented the last couple generations. I think that a lot of millennials, it's like everybody gets a trophy, right? This is not everybody gets a trophy. May you skin your knee climbing a mountain, burn your hand on a stove, and stick your tongue on a frozen flagpole. All things that, fathers want their kids to do. Although nowadays, what I'm seeing with, kids in lessons and stuff is it's getting softer. And my theory is that these dads, the attaboy dads, when the kid's not really even doing anything, I think they were maybe raised by their mothers. And it's like the criticism is wrong, and standards are wrong, and expectations are wrong, and your kid should never suffer. No. Remember that DUI that went viral, that DUI video that went viral, that I didn't cover it, but everybody covered it. And that lady's like, you're being a white man. I have generational trauma. Remember that chick? Oh my gosh. This is like not doing this, not allowing kids to go through things. That's what it makes. I don't care if you try a beer once, but I hope you don't like it. And if a friend offers you dope or a joint, I hope you realize he or she is not your friend. Absolutely. But nowadays, it's like, oh, they're still your friend. Everything's okay. There's no, don't be judgmental. You can't, I don't think that parents can even say now, I mean, they could, but I don't think they'll say nowadays, don't hang out with those people. Those people are bad news. They're bad influences. I don't think that is I don't know. I don't think they talk like that anymore because there's no judgment. It's like sometimes you gotta say, hey, don't do those behaviors. Don't hang out with those people because character matters. I sure hope you make time to sit on a porch with your grandma or grandpa and go fishing with your uncle. We are really missing those family attachments, and we need to be talking to our grandparents and great-grandparents and learning about real history, our history, our family history. That is valuable education. May you feel sorrow at a funeral and joy during the holidays. I hope your mother punishes you when you throw a baseball through your neighbor's window, and that she hugs you and kisses you at Christmas time when you give her a plaster mold of your hand. I hope your father punishes you if you do the baseball. The father needs to be, in charge of that. These things I wish for you: tough times and disappointment, hard work and happiness. To me, it's the only way to appreciate life. Indeed, the only way to appreciate life. All these women who say, I'm not happy, they're not grateful. Have you ever met somebody and you're like, have you never had a real problem? Because I feel like a lot of these women who divorce these perfectly wonderful men because they're not happy, I'm like, you don't even know what a problem is. You are manufacturing problems. And then, the videos are all over the place of all the regret. But nobody's doing this anymore, and it's winding up with unhappy people that are blaming other people for that unhappiness. You can't raise kids without the hard times and the consequences. And I think for a long time, women have been raised where there's no expectations and there's no consequences. And for a while, there still was for the boys. But I think the tide's turned, and now we've got, some young men that you're just like, you've never been through anything. You want to call the mom, because moms make their kids dependent on them. We're so far away from Paul Harvey's vision of childhood. And his vision of childhood develops a person with good character. Didn't talk about where the morals and the principles come from. I think there needs to be something deeply rooted. It can't just be behavioral. But obviously it's not a dissertation, I think building character is becoming obsolete. And it definitely started with the women, and especially the pretty women, because you just get told you're pretty, and then those ones look for that sort of reward, look for that sort of attention. It's not like they go, oh, I'm going to study harder. They don't need to. If you're a little homely, then it used to be that you needed like some other things about you. But now, even the homely girls are, taking off their clothes on Instagram and only fools. We don't have any of these ideals anymore. We don't let kids go through stuff. So how is it a surprise that when they become adults, they can't function and go through stuff? They've never had to. And I swear, it's my opinion that this is the opposite of how women raise children. And that's why you end up with single mom statistics where they're more likely to drop out of high school, go to jail, take drugs, have a teenage pregnancy. All of those are outcomes of single moms. And there's a reason, because you don't have this. This is like the opposite. I wonder if they would think this is abusive. I don't know. Sometimes I think I must be an 85-year-old. Like, God, I'm from some Stone Age. You guys ever look around and you're like, where are we? I don't recognize this place. It's changed so much. And they get us when we're young. This is unrecognizable. I would love to know your opinion. I'd love to know, your age and what you saw in your generation. Was it everybody gets a trophy and nobody should ever go through anything and everything's accepted? Or was it like, you're a Gen X and you're like, I barely survived. So, I don't know, and I'm sure a lot of you agree with me that women are raised, they have been for a while raised to not know consequences or anything. They just can do whatever they want and everything they do is glorious. So, thanks for hanging out with me. Take care of yourselves. Love you guys, and I'll see you on the next one. Don't forget to hit like.